Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Mr. Long Island Searches for Truth and Beauty. This afternoon my guest is Marina Montes. Marina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And today we're going to find the truth about beauty, which is just an absolutely wonderful segue. And Marina is the Miss Long Island 2011.
Yes, sir.
So we're very excited to have you here. We appreciate your time. But before we get into the whole beauty pageant thing and Miss Long Island contest and the competition, the really important question that Long Island wants to know, your favorite place to have pizza on Long Island?
Where to have pizza? Okay.
The best pizza. Now, you can get pizza anywhere.
You're right. We can get pizza anywhere. We're very fortunate. But the best place would have to be the Pie in Port Jefferson.
The Pie in Port Jefferson.
In Port Jeff Village.
Right.
Not only do they have amazing pizza, they have a dessert pizza.
Now, wait a minute. Dessert pizza, those are two words that shouldn't be the same.
That should always be together.
Okay.
It has like caramel and whipped cream and marshmallows and chocolate. It's amazing and so definitely worth the trip.
It's an actual dessert.
It's a pizza pie. Pizza. Oh no. It's a pizza. It's a dessert on pizza pie, on a pizza pie crust. It's amazing.
And I was wondering what I was going to be doing this weekend. I think I'm going to find my way up to the North Shore.
You have to try it. It's so good.
And the reason we bring up the pizza, because we're always discussing things that make Long Island special. And as diverse as all the different towns are on Long Island, the one thing that every town has in common is a pizza place. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that every Long Islander has is a strong opinion about pizza. So we're getting some great pizza places, and we're having a lot of fun with that conversation. So thank you for contributing to that. And that's the Pie in Port Jeff. So
the Pie in Port Jeff.
Beautiful.
Tell them Marina sent you.
We'll be there. So you're Miss Long Island 2011. You've also, you grew up in Long Island. You went to Walt Whitman High School?
Ward Melville High School.
Ward Melville High School. You're our second Ward Melville High School guest here.
Very nice.
For those of you keeping score at home. And then you went to undergrad where?
I went to the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. And then from there I went to the University of North Carolina to attend law school.
And okay, so you undergraduate, law school, lived in North Carolina for a little bit, and you came back to Long Island.
Came back home.
Why is that?
Well, my family and friends are still here, but I also ultimately started a small business that's located here called Your Swim, which is an on-site swim school. So my staff essentially travels out to our clients' homes, teaching swimming lessons in our clients' very own backyard. So it's home. It's always been home, and I'm happy to be back here. Okay,
so undergrad, graduate school, law school, you own your own business, but you're also Miss Long Island 2011. There are people who would think that that's a contradiction. I have a sneaking suspicion you would think one follows the other.
Absolutely. I think the skills that I've developed being Miss Long Island absolutely transcended to every sort of facet of my life, particularly law school and starting a business. Skills such as public speaking, getting out in front of a group of people, presenting yourself, those are all skills that came from the pageant.
Would you say you had those skills and you honed them through the pageant process, or you just didn't realize you needed, or the skills that you had, you didn't realize how important public speaking is, let's put it that way. I mean, were you a good public speaker before you entered the pageant?
I think I would have said yes, but I don't think I realized how important it was to articulate yourself and put your best foot forward when you're presenting yourself in front of other people. So I absolutely believe that so much of that skill set came from Miss Long Island, particularly because when you're Miss Long Island, we had a very demanding schedule and we had to be at a variety of appearances. So learning who your audience is and how to communicate to that particular audience was a tremendous skill that I gained from being Miss Long Island.
I want to come back to the skill sets that you talk about, but walk us through the process that got you involved in the whole, you call them beauty pageants, I mean, walk us through, how'd you get involved, why'd you get involved?
Well, when I was at George Washington University, I was heavily involved in musical theater, and I knew that I was going to continue on to law school. So I wanted something that would allow me to get on stage, but wasn't such a demanding, didn't have such a demanding commitment like theater does. And at the suggestion of one of my professors, he said, you should try competing in a pageant. And I kind of raised my eyebrows and I was like, really? But at my first pageant, which I did horrible in, I loved the process. I met wonderful women. I really got to learn what it was about, and I was hooked ever since. So that's sort of been my journey in finding myself through pageantry, or finding pageantry rather, and I'm so happy that I did, because I really think it showed me how to put my best foot forward.
So that's fascinating. So you wasn't your little girl you watching Miss America on Saturday night with Bert Parks, or this was a way to hone your presentation skills.
And to get on stage and to perform. And being in a pageant at Miss Long Island, we compete in an interview portion, a swimsuit, and an evening gown portion, and then the top 5 move on to an onstage question. So with each phase of competition, there's a different way to prepare for each phase of competition, and it all gets to be put in a big show on stage. So for me, I was like, perfect, sign me up, that's great. I love those opportunities to get on a stage.
Were you surprised, obviously pageants by their nature are competitive, were you surprised at the result of your competing becoming better at whatever it was, you know, the different aspects of the competition?
Yeah, I think that with each preparing for each pageant, you definitely feel much more comfortable with each phase of competition. But for me, I definitely thought that I didn't realize how much I was getting out of it, and how it was really transcending into myself professionally and academically. I think until a couple of years of doing it, and particularly having this title, winning Miss Long Island, I think that's when I really got to see the benefits and how this was really manifesting itself in my life, and how it was shaping me and who I was then and who I am as a person now. So I think I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay, so you're pleasantly, so you really didn't know what to expect going in this thing. Okay.
No, I didn't. And through the years in competing, I, really fell in love with the process of preparing for that actual competition day, and then beyond that, what the benefits of having a title, what that meant.
How did you get involved in Miss Long Island? And I mean, did you know that it existed before this professor made this suggestion?
So with Miss Long Island, it's run by our fabulous executive director, Lori Thomas. Okay. She started it approximately 8 years ago with the intention of bringing a local pageant to Long Island, which it had never had prior to her inception of Miss Long Island. I actually went the first year and watched it. So I was in the audience, and I was like set on doing it the following year. I'm
sorry, it's 8 years when you started, or it's 8 years now?
So it's 8 years in its totality. So it's been around.
I was promised there'd be no math in this gig. So it started about 2006.
Yes.
Okay.
2006.
And you're Miss Long Island 2011.
Wait, let's do the math again. That sounds. It started in, 2006, and I'm 2011, and it was just such an amazing privilege to win amongst such great competitors, because any single one of the girls who go out to compete could easily take the crown. Okay. I think Miss Long Island and pageantry in general really attracts confident, intelligent, professionally ambitious women. So to surround myself with that group of women was just such an honor, and then to win was like one of the best moments in my life. So now there is a total of, I have 14 Miss Long Island sisters, and we are anxiously awaiting to see who gets crowned this August 10th, in the Patchogue Theater, to see who wins the Miss Long Island 2015 crown.
You mentioned the level of competition, and I was thinking about this, and thinking about the preparing for the show, and I have 2 sons, so the beauty pageant's not going to factor in with them, but they would participate in tournaments, baseball tournaments, basketball tournaments, so there's a level of competition there, and it's the preparation, and if you think about it, the parallel is really there, because basically what you're doing is you're taking your God-given skills and you're honing them and making a better person out of yourself. And same with sports. I mean, some kids are better at sports than others, so that doesn't make the person who doesn't win any less than the person who does win, but it does provide an opportunity to hone those skills. Would you say that is the same with the pageants?
I think that's completely accurate. I always felt that when I competed, even though I was competing against or amongst other competitors, I always felt like it was a competition with myself. Right. So my goal was always to walk on that stage, putting my best foot forward, and leave that stage knowing that I did the best that I could do. And sometimes that brought me a crown, and I was like Miss Long Island, I was fortunate enough to win, and other times it didn't. But the process was still the same, and the process is where I feel like that skill set really, really developed.
And that's an important component, because you mentioned before you did horribly in your first pageant.
Oh my God, horribly. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I had no idea what I was doing, but I'm so grateful for that, because a lot of times you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes.
You said you had no idea what you were doing. Tell me a little bit about that. Like what?
Oh my God, Michael,
well, let me put it, the stereotype is you put on a gown, you walk to the stage, you do a twirl, and you go back.
You think it's a lot of people have that generalization that that's what it is, and it's very simple. And I think I was one of those people until I put my foot on that stage and realized there's a lot more to that competition, particularly in the interview portion. The interview is where you get to really kind of get yourself out there, let the judges know who you are, and make sure that they look for you on that stage. And I think for me, I was kind of shy, and I just didn't know what to expect, and I hadn't prepared. So it definitely showed me how to prepare for an interview, how to really, you know, develop the type of skills and sort of it goes down to wardrobe and fitness. I mean, there's a lot to it. It's not just waking up that morning, opening your closet and saying, okay, here's a gown, let me go ahead and do it. It takes months to prepare, and I learned that, and probably the hard way, but that was right for me. Like, that's what I needed to do, and I was ready a couple years later when I competed at Miss Long Island, and I went there to win, and it was months to prepare.
Tell us a little bit about the women you compete with. Are you friends? Or is it nasty? I mean, tell us a little bit about what's backstage at a pageant. What's that like?
Oh my goodness, I get that question all the time. There's a stereotype that we're all catty and we're all ripping each other's dresses. I mean, it couldn't be anything further from the truth. Everybody is so helpful, helping zip you up, helping you with your makeup, helping you with your hair. I mean, these are women that I will have friendships with for the rest of my life. And I'm not just saying that. I had dinner with 2 of the Miss Long Islands and their husbands 2 weeks ago, and then a couple of days later, we all got together, all the Miss Long Islands, with the Miss Long Island teens to go see a Broadway show. So it really is a family that we're building. That's what Lori Thomas is building with this program. It's a family that transcends beyond just the winners. We are very friendly with all the contestants. So the girls that come out year after year to compete, or the new girls that come out and will come out this year to compete, we encourage them to contact us, and we support them in whatever sort of events that they are putting on in the community. I mean, we're really trying to build a network of women that we can rely on that are active on Long Island.
Do you have a sense, do a lot of women who maybe don't win one year come back the next year? Do you get a lot of repeat participants?
I think, I would say so. There are definitely a handful of women who their process to win the crown might be a few years. When I first competed for Miss Long Island in 2010, I didn't win. I placed first runner-up, and I knew that wasn't my year. And the girl who won, Jamie, she's an amazing person, and she did phenomenal that year, and it was amazing because she got to crown me, and that was one of the girls that I just went out to dinner with a couple of weeks ago. So it really is about putting your best foot forward, and that was in my year, and I came back and I was ready to win it the following year, and that was okay.
Well, we have a tiara and a crown. Is this the best part about winning, that you get to wear these things, or what?
I mean, they're fun, don't get me wrong, but I think pageantry definitely transcends the crown. I think the opportunities that are provided through the organization, the type of events we get to go to, the type of nonprofits we get to get involved in, I mean, that's really where the role of Miss Long Island is at its forefront. And the crown is just, it's pretty, it's a crown. I mean...
so you don't keep this in the car, and if you get pulled over for speed and you put it on your head and try to get out of the ticket?
No, I can't say I've done that. But it's a microphone. That's really what I looked at my crown at. It really allowed me to get in front of people, get into schools, talking about things that I was passionate about. There's something about a girl showing up with a crown and a sash that makes people want to listen. So for me, it was more than just putting that on my head. I do love it, and it is special to me, but no, there was a lot more than just the crown.
So one of the parts of competing is you have to have a cause, and then you become the spokeswoman for that cause. What was your cause, and how'd that go?
That's actually probably the most important part of Lori's pageant that differentiates her pageant from other pageants. She really places a lot on the girl's ability to get involved in her community. In 2011, when I won, I knew that I wanted to get out and get into schools and talking about water safety awareness. Okay. So for me, I had the privilege of going to various elementary schools and talking to kids about how to be safe, especially around now when the summer is getting underway and pools are being opened. Being on Long Island, we have a lot of water. Right. And there are important rules to reiterate to our younger children, because unfortunately drowning is the #1 leading cause of death for children under the age of 11. Wow. So, and as we all know here on Long Island, we unfortunately fall victim to drownings every summer. So that was one of the things that I felt really passionate about. But some of my other sisters, we sort of run the gamut when it comes to involvement in the community. I know, and I'm going to get everybody's year right, our Miss Long Island Teen 2012, Sabrina, right. She actually started a social media platform, Teens United Long Island, which basically is she does anti-bullying prevention, and she creates an open dialogue for teens to talk about being bullied and ways to prevent it in their schools. One of my dear friends, Miss Long Island 2013, Jessica Rico, she actually, her year, she put together an event called Queens on the Green, where we all attended a golf outing where she raised over $10,000 for her organization. So for all of us, it's really just about getting out in the community and doing something that we're passionate about. And it's nice because being Miss Long Island kind of gives you the autonomy to go ahead and do something that you really want to contribute to.
Well, I would imagine you walk into an elementary school or a junior high with your sash and your tiara, you're going to get the kids' attention and keep it.
Yeah, so. And then I take it off, because if not, that's all they'll be looking at. I want to make sure that they get that message that I'm trying to deliver. But yes, the kids do love the crown.
Well, I think you've debunked a lot of stereotypes or preconceived notions. What's the best thing about being Miss Long Island? And you know, is there any one thing that you knew you couldn't have gotten to do if you hadn't gone through that process?
Well, that year particularly, I couldn't name just one event. I mean, we really got to attend so many amazing events that occur on Long Island throughout the year. But the one, my favorite moment, oh God, I don't know, there were so many. I would have to say it was probably speaking in the schools. I mean, I really, really enjoyed talking to kids about something that I felt really strongly about, and I hope that some of those things that I said stuck with them, and it helped develop their choices when they were outside playing in a backyard, and it reiterated with them. And
you alluded that before you'd started a business, you took the cause, and now you've spun it into a business that you're looking to launch on Long Island, teaching swimming safety to kids. So that's a terrific benefit of participating. If somebody was interested in getting involved in a pageant, or they had a daughter that they thought, what would they do? Where would they go?
Well, I would definitely recommend coming out and watching Miss Long Island on August 10th in the Patchogue Theater. I think just sort of seeing it and seeing what the process is and coming and speaking to us. We're all so approachable, and we love talking to new girls and letting them know what it is we do, what Miss Long Island is about, and just contacting any of us. We're all on social media. Right. Contacting Lori Thomas. She's the nicest person when it comes to answering questions for new girls who might not know what to expect, and doing the research. I mean, it's out there, and we're out there to help girls and mentor girls through the process.
Well, it's a great suggestion if you're interested to watch, and I had the privilege of being a judge last summer.
I know.
And I got to tell you, I was exhausted. By the end of the day, I was like, oh my God, these young ladies are working so hard, and there's so many different facets of what they had to do. And I had a much different appreciation for the process that you walked us through. And I understood that even if you don't win, the idea of preparing for this really makes you a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad to hear that most of the contestants come back and try again, because I think that's terrific. And then you try and you do better, and you come out of the process a better person,
mm-hmm.
and you have fun, because they did have a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a blast.
Yeah.
It's a blast. I'm sure you loved being a judge.
It was a very, very interesting experience, and I had a great time. I just for very different reasons than I expected. It was just really enlightening, and
mm-hmm.
I think it's terrific. I think it's a great cause, and I really think what you do in terms of the community-oriented benefits that you provide are terrific. So I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
This has been terrific. It's been enlightening, and you've been through another episode of Mr. Long Island Searches for Truth and Beauty. And this week we got to talk about the truth about beauty, and I think it's fascinating. So Marina, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
Thank you for being with us this afternoon.